Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend tonight's meeting. For the record, it's February 8th, 2024, and the time is 5:30 p.m. I'll begin the roll call. So, Council, when I call your name, please say here or present. Mayor Maxton.
Here.
Council Member Stroop is not present. Council Member Roden.
Present.
Olvera.
Here.
Kerner.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
And Menchow, who is not present. With 5 members of council present, a quorum is declared.
Thank you, Christina. Would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank y'all. And thank everybody for attending tonight. I'd also like to give a special thanks to council for attending tonight as part of the special meeting. We are live broadcasting tonight's meeting, and I welcome anybody that's joining us by live broadcast. I ask that anybody that's here tonight, if you get an opportunity to speak, that we all use the microphone that is up here at the podium. It is only through that microphone those that are watching through the live broadcast will be able to hear. And when you do get the opportunity, please provide your name, and if you're a resident of Fair Oaks Ranch, or if not, what agencies that you are representing. And with that, we'll move on to citizens to be heard. We didn't have anybody sign up. Is there anybody here that would like to speak? Then we'll move on to the purpose of tonight's meeting, which is the 3 items that we have for the special called meeting. And I'll introduce the first item, which is the consideration and possible action approving a resolution ordering a general election to be held on May 4th, 2024 for the election of mayor and council member place 1, and to approve a joint election agreement with Kendall County election, and to authorize the city manager to sign the agreement. And do we need any presentation or any questions from anybody here tonight? Or too quick? Then could I get a motion to approve a resolution ordering a general election to be held on May 4th, 2024 for the election of the mayor and council member place 1, and to approve a joint election agreement with Kendall County election, and to authorize the city manager to sign the agreement?
I so move.
From Laura, and a second.
A second.
And from Ruben, second. Do we have any other discussion from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. We'll move on to the second item tonight, which is the consideration and the possible action approving a first reading of an ordinance calling the special election reauthorizing the levying of a local sales and use tax for the maintenance and the repair of the municipal streets to be held on May 4th, 2024. And do we have any questions from council on this one? Any questions from anybody here tonight? Then could I get a motion to approve the first reading of an ordinance calling for a special election reauthorizing the levying of a local sales and use tax for the maintenance and repair of municipal streets?
So moved.
From Keith, and a second.
Second.
From Scott. Any other discussion from council? And with the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then that motion is approved. And the last item tonight is the consideration and possible approval of an ordinance calling a bond election to be held by the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, Texas. Do we have any quick presentation on this one?
No presentation, but I was going to go over the changes in the ordinance from last week.
Okay.
Summer Fleming, Director of Finance. Also, Andrew Friedman is here from Samco Capital in case there's any questions. So last week at the February 1 council meeting, a workshop was held to discuss the roadway projects and several options for Ammon Road. A draft resolution calling the election was discussed, and council directed staff on a bond authorization amount. So with that direction, we have this new ordinance for your consideration. The ordinance was prepared by bond counsel and for the most part is identical to the draft reviewed at the last meeting, except for a couple changes. Those changes include adding the not-to-exceed authorization amount of $16 million and updating the figures in the voter information document on page 28 of the agenda packet. Those figures are estimates calculated by SAMCO based on a timeline for completing the projects over the next 5 years and uses assumptions for interest rates and taxable values. The handout provided at the beginning of the meeting is the bond issuance proposal from SAMCO, noting those assumptions used for the estimates. Another change is that this ordinance has been worded to limit the usage of bond proceeds to only the streets listed, which are Dietz Elkhorn, Battle and Tents, Rolling Acres Trail, and Ammon Road. Now, the ballot will not include those street names and will appear as shown in Section 5 of the ordinance, which is on page 22 of the packet. But Section 1 on page 20 explicitly states the purpose of the bond is for improvements to these specific streets. So no additional resolution to that matter would be needed, as was mentioned last week. Also, the Texas Government Code states that this ordinance will become effective immediately upon adoption, regardless of the city's home rule charter to the contrary concerning a multiple reading requirement. So tonight will be the first and final reading of the ordinance if approved.
Thank you, Summer. That was
Sure.
direct and to the point. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question about the ordinance wording, and maybe it's more for Scott. So if at a later date, years from now, council wants to use the bond for other than those 4 roads, would it require a new ordinance? Or what would happen?
It would require a new authorization, so we'd have to go through either a GO or CO bond process again.
Oh,
So,
another election?
so if we did GOs, yes, it would require a new election, new authorization. So, as this states per the direction last week, it would be these 4 streets exclusively.
Okay, and so if for any reason a future council decides they want to use it for something else, they wouldn't be able to
That's correct.
because of this ordinance?
That's correct.
Okay, that was just my question.
Anybody else? Any questions from anybody here tonight? And with that, can I get a motion to approve a motion that the city council adopt an ordinance calling for a bond election?
So moved.
From Keith, and a second
I second.
from Laura. And any other discussion from council? Then with the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. I believe that completes all of the areas that we needed for addressing tonight as part of the council meeting. Christine, anything else that we need from your perspective?
No, sir.
Got anything from?
Sure.
Okay, I have the time now is 5:39 and we are adjourned.